Good morning, what is up? What is going on? Dave at SVA Baseball Card Collectors. I was pumped. I got my cards from Serious Cards. Stoked about that. Got the Clemente. That was very nice. And also got my Carl Yastrzemski 1975 SGC 9. So that was pretty cool too. And also got a card from, two cards actually, from Pristine Card Cleaners. Now, they had direct messaged me or DM'd me, as they say it on Instagram, as the kids say it, and they hit me up there and said they wanted to clean and grade a couple of cards for me, free of charge, to let me know how their service is. So, what I did was, I had a card, a gold Luis Medina, Funky Comedia, Luis Medina, or Luis, I don't know exactly how to say his name, but he's a Yankee fireballer who, of course, is now pitching poorly in the minors, but that's beside the point. And so it got I sent it off to Beckett. It came back as a 9 and a autograph 10. And basically rendering the card not worthless, but whatever I paid for it, I wasn't going to get any more for it. I'd probably get less. So I sent him that card, and it was also a Clint Frazier rookie autograph that I was a little iffy about. Not that it had tons of scratches on it, but the surface was a little, okay. And now both of these are Bauman Chrome. And the edging I was a little worried about, so there was just a couple of things. And this ties into what I wanted to get into on the second half of the Z podcast. And so I sent it over to him, and he cleaned the cards up. Then he shipped them off to PSA, where you get, it's a similar pricing to a group deal, so that was good with that. So he cleaned the card, sent it off to PSA, sent it, he gets it back, then he sends it off to me, and lo and behold, both of them got 9.5 and 10 autographs. And the Clint Frazier had all three 9.5s, and I think Edges got a 10, which I was really stoked about. I really didn't think I was going to get a grade that high. And same thing with the Medina. It came back, and the centering was a little off, and there's nothing they could do about centering. I mean, they could, but then now we're talking about altering a card, but which is a no-no. But they did an excellent job. Pristine Card Cleaners, I definitely recommend. I would recommend a higher value card, not a lower value card. And also, this is going to be towards Bauman Chromes. He suggests $75 and above, because you're going to be paying a cleaning fee. I believe it is $15. I'm not 100% sure. And that cleans the card. And basically he's saying if he takes the job of cleaning the card, that you have a really good shot of getting a 9.5, 10 or Pristine 10 or whatever the hell, you can get. And of course, it's not going to be a guarantee, but for a higher end card that is iffy, to get the work done, to clean it up and make it look more presentable, it's definitely a route that I would go to. If you don't want to go and do it yourself, because I did it myself, and we're gonna see how it went, but it takes time. It does take a lot of time. And if you have a bunch of cards, I can see this taking a really long amount of time. So just take that into consideration. I highly recommend these guys, Pristine Card Cleaners. Now I will be moving on to the PWCC. They did an interview with, I think it's Sports Cards Chronicles. He does a lot of he's on YouTube, and he does a lot of interviews with people. I think he's more towards basketball cards and not baseball cards, but he still had the guy from PWCC, I forget his name, but basically he's one of the guys that are in charge, and I have mixed feelings about it. Now, if you look at the comments below on the YouTube video, everyone's talking negative. And the way the guy worded, the way the guy was talking, it was, I think that's what was turning people off a little bit. And he wasn't trying to be, but he came off like it. And what I mean is, his distinction between restoration and alteration is, and he does give you a definition, but in a lot of the times he would go, if you can't see it, then it's restoration. If there's no physical evidence, it's restoration. And that is where people start going, so if you get away with it, if you're able to get away with it, it's restoration. And PWCC has no qualms about it because they couldn't figure it out, and so it's restoration because no one could see it. Now, what does that mean? Well, he was giving an example of a pencil mark, and there's ways that if you erase it, it's visible, and you can see that you tried to erase a pencil mark. That would be altering because you can see what you did. However, if you erased it properly and there's no evidence of it, that's restoration. I just think that's a crappy job of getting rid of a pencil mark. Now, that's what it comes down to. I think that's not altering. To me, that's not altering. If you have a kid and he put a pencil mark on it and you go, God damn it, what'd you do? And then you try to erase the pencil mark. I don't think that is altering the card. You're not altering the card. You're not changing the card. And that's what he was getting to. If you put bleach on it, he's saying, yeah, now you're altering it because you're changing the characteristics of a card, which I understood. If you're trimming it, same thing. You're changing the size of a card, which is understood. It was if there's no evidence, then it's restoration. I don't believe that's the case. If there's no evidence, it's if you trim it in such a way where you really can't tell, and it's been happening. And one of the things that, trimming you should see evidence of, so because then the card will be slightly smaller. But there's other areas of ways of doing it. You know, if you smush a card and you flatten it, so you make it a little bit bigger, then you trim it back so the things are sharper, and then it shrinks back or it comes back to its regular size. The thickness is going to be different, but the size and everything is going to be the same. So you're going to have a really hard time figuring out if that card has been altered or not, because there's really no evidence besides the thickness of a card. And yes, you can go, well, that's the evidence, the thickness. Can they test the thickness? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know if PWC could go, oh, well, the thickness of the card doesn't match up. Maybe they can. Who knows? I don't know. But he was more concerned about cards that have been altered. What do you do with it? And they're just going to go right back in the market, and then you're going to buy something at a card show, and you're not going to notice it, and it'll just keep on going on and on and on, which the guy was correct in. The guy's principles and what he was talking about is good for the hobby, even though people don't see it right now because of what he didn't get into was there's somebody that used to work for PSA that now is on PWCC, or vice versa. It was PWCC, now works, I think that's what it is, PWCC, and now works for PSA. And so there's a lot of conflict they feel, people feel, and that cards that are getting graded higher, and they're all going through PWCC. And that's a problem. If you have a card that was sold to a buyer, and then all of a sudden resurfaces on PWCC as a higher graded card, you can see where there's an issue. And that really wasn't talked about. And I think that's where a lot of people feel weird about PWCC, and they don't trust them. Because, people are saying they have guys that are bidding to buy these cards. There's certain people that are buying these cards on eBay and then changing it up, and then all of a sudden, oh, look at that, the grades are getting higher, and it's all working through PWCC. Maybe that's not them. Maybe that's just somebody gaming the system, and they just weren't privy to it. Maybe it is them. So that's one of the reasons why people are really being discouraged about PWCC. The way they worded this conservation and alteration also seems a little scammy. He did have a good explanation when he started talking about coins and comic books. Now you have some people go, well, this isn't coins and comic books, we're not doing that stuff. But you're getting to the point, I think you're already there, where cards as a collectible, as an investment, is there. We're getting there where it's something that people should do. And there's ways of restoring a card that doesn't damage it and doesn't alter it, and they should be done. Perfect example was the Bauman Chrome. A lot of people use wax, and they try to get the scratches off. They try to, clean the card, make it look nicer. You're cleaning the card, it got dirty. Sometimes you open up the pack, that's the way it came. Now, are you altering it? No, you're cleaning it. Is that an acceptable thing? Because you're putting wax on it and then you're wiping the wax off. Is that altering? I would not consider that altering. But maybe everybody else in the industry does. And what he was trying to say was, we need a set of standards, which is what we're lacking. And that's not what we're getting from the grading community, because they don't want to tell you. It's somewhat of a hidden thing, because then if you have like the 10 commandments of grading, why can't anyone else do it then? You'd go, all right, here's the 10 commandments of things. We don't do this. Okay. I don't do that. This is the stuff we check for, and we made sure that this is good. We'll give this an 8 and 9, or whatever the case may be. They want to keep it somewhat subjective because it makes it a little blurry. It makes it that not everyone can do it, because we have professional PSA, Beckett, SGC, graders. They don't want it. They don't want that. That's one thing, I think. I don't think you'll ever get a standard, because not everyone will follow it. I think with comic books, there's only really one guy, and I might be wrong. I'm talking out of school here, because I don't know. But I think there's only one guy that really does grading. So they're somewhat able to set the standard. And they do some crazy stuff. You see creases on the paper, on comic books, and they're able to take the creases away, wrinkles, and take them away. I don't know about creases so much. They're pressing comic books like it's a shirt. I don't know what's going on there. I would think that's altering, but it's not, because they are trying to restore it to its original, what it looked like, and they're not altering it. They're not changing the composition of the card. They're not brightening it. They're just making it with less wrinkles and making it look sharper without cutting it or doing anything like that. So, what we need, what really comes down to is you need a set of standards. And this is what the guy was saying. And he was correct in this. You need a set of standards that everyone can follow and that can be transparent. That is obvious. Nobody wants to do, the grading companies don't want to do that, I believe. This is just in my head. Because they like the fuzziness, the not too sure, well, that's why you're an expert. Very similar to baseball and sabermetrics. They like that, oh, the guy is a 5'2" player, he's got a good body, big legs, and all that nonsense. And then a lot of people cut through that with statistical analysis, with numbers. And numbers don't lie. And you can see trends. So that's why I think you'll have a difficult time. So you're going to need, I think, people outside of the grading community to come together and basically create a set of standards. Go, hey, this is what it is. Then you bring it to the grading companies. Go, look, this is what we want to follow. Now, you have to get them to buy into it. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But that is something where you want to go. And that is what PWCC is saying they're trying to do. Now, if that's what they're actually legitimately doing, I have no idea. Maybe they are. You know, I don't know these guys from a hole in the wall. But to me, that's what I think they're trying to do. They're trying to get a standard and be able to use that standard for everyone. To me, I think what would be more transparent is they video every single car that they grade. So you see what they do, what they're looking at. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Transparency. If I saw a video, and them looking at my card and how they went about it, it would make me feel a lot better. I don't know if they use computers to check the sizes on all of them, or they just eye it and go, hey, it looks good. I have no idea. I really don't. But I don't think the guy addressed everything, but I think he addressed a lot of the problems that they were facing. It was really the 52 Mickey Mantle that they spoke about how the corner was fixed, and they said that it was restoration. The guy didn't really keep on at it. Also, the guy was dry doing the interview. Oh my God, dude, that guy. If you're listening, somehow, somewhere you're listening, drink coffee, snort some Coke, or do something. You need to pep it up, man.